Thank you all for joining us in worship, and I want to invite Pastor Remy to share the word this morning.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming back. That was my request last week, that you keep coming back. So my name is Remy Diedrich, if you weren't here last week and if you weren't watching last week. So welcome to those online or at home today or maybe watching this or listening to this later on this week. I just want to point out my wife is here today. She can't always be here, but she's in the back. Her name is Lisa, and Lisa loves people, and she loves to get to know people. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, she would be very happy with that afterwards. You can, by the way, you can just call me by my first name. Sometimes people wonder if they should call me Pastor or not. No, I've never gone by that, so just call me Remy. Well, I love that last song. It's one of my favorite songs, and I think that might be kind of the theme song for this month, right? Through it all, we want to keep our eyes on Jesus. So I've been asked by our denomination to walk with you through at least Easter, maybe beyond. Everything's up in there. We don't know. So we're committing to Easter, to walk you through, to help you through this time, through this season. And I realize that the foundation of this church has been shaken. You all have felt that. And I want to help you make sense of it if I can. Both here on Sunday morning and one-on-ones if you're interested in meeting with me as well. And it's a little tricky for me to speak on Sunday, as I just want to mention this because, to address your specific situation when I realize that people can come in who are brand new and they know nothing about the past. And so how much do I talk about your situation when they could be new or they're watching online and they might have just come across us and they don't know. So I just want you to understand I'm dealing with that a little bit. So my messages will be, this message today specifically, and all of them will be somewhat generic because I want to be inclusive of those people that are brand new to the fellowship. But I think you'll be able to connect the dots for what I'm saying into your situation. So I don't think that'll be too hard for you. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be speaking the series based on my book, Return from Exile. And I know many of you have downloaded that onto your Kindle. So I think it'll just be, there's lots of things I say in there that I won't have time to say here. So I hope you'll take advantage of that. It's set up as a 40-day, what do you call that? A 40-day devotional, thank you. That's the word. A 40-day devotional and short chapters every day. So I'm reading it through too. I wrote this a few years ago, so it's good to refresh my memory of what I said in that book. And it comes at a good time. We are in the season of Lent. I don't know how many of you come from a tradition of walking through the season of Lent, but it's the season, the 40 days that lead up to Easter, and we're well into that now. The word Lent, I don't know if you ever knew this. I didn't learn this until just a few years ago, but the word Lent simply means springtime. And years ago, when, like in Europe, when it was kind of a Christian nations, springtime was so associated with Easter that the word Lent just became almost synonymous with Easter. So that's what Lent is. It's a time to reflect, not only on the suffering of Jesus, but on our suffering as well. And so it's a time to identify with the suffering that Jesus bore, and which is obviously very appropriate as a result of the events that you've experienced here. I think we all realize that suffering is a part of life, right? You don't have to live very long to understand that suffering is a part of life. Jesus said that in this world you will have trouble. It was John 16. And suffering, it's not only hard on us physically and emotionally, but it's hard on us spiritually as well. It's hard on us spiritually because it suffering quietly whispers to us thoughts of doubt, making us question the goodness of God and maybe even if God exists at all. In fact, some wounded people, they maintain an outward facade of having faith, keep going to church, but inwardly, they've long given up on God because they resent him for not showing up at a time in their life where they thought that he should be present. So many of us are ill-equipped to face the trouble, to face the obstacles that confront us. But I hope to show you over these next few weeks that we can not only withstand the hardship that comes our way, but God can use our hardships to help us to be more like Jesus. And that's what we want, right? We want to be more like Jesus. That's why we're here. So if this experience of ours is going to help us be more like Jesus, it's like, okay, I want to lean into this and see what God can do through this season to make me more like Jesus. And so no matter what comes our way, God in his wisdom can use everything for good, even what has hurt us. Let me finish that sentence that I started, that Jesus said. In this world you will have trouble, but, you got to keep reading these verses, but take heart, for I have overcome the world, right? That's good news. Because he knows that we're going to have trouble, but he wants us to realize that he is with us through this. So we have to remember that Jesus is always with us to overcome the obstacles that confront us every day. Well, the Bible's full of stories about God helping people to overcome their troubles, and I want to start this series out by looking at the life of Moses. You know, even though Moses was born a Hebrew slave, he ended up, of course, being adopted by Pharaoh's daughter, and so that means that he was raised with all the riches that you'd imagine if you were to be raised in a king's household. He had the finest food every day. He was educated in the finest schools. He had a cushy job in the government when he grew up, and he was looking forward to a nice inheritance. I mean, this guy, it was like he won the Powerball lottery, right? While all of the rest of the Jews of that day, they were stuck making bricks for Pharaoh. He was a golden boy, and his future was bright until one day he woke up having no idea how the day's events were going to change his life forever. So let me read to you in Exodus chapter 2, verse 11. One day, after Moses had grown up, he went out to where his own people were and watched them at their hard labor. And he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his own people. Looking this way and that and seeing no one, he killed the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. So in an instant,